This next guy traveled here from Boston all the way to be here on our Brooklyn comedy show because we get the best. He's been on the BBC, he's been on the Late Late Show. Please, if you would, give him a big round of applause and welcome him to the stage, Dan Boulger. Danny!
Thanks, buddy. Thank you, Greg. I came here just for this. What are you doing? Greg, we're all from Boston. It's a weird show to be here. I like Boston. Boston's great. Our team won the Super Bowl championship. And we cheated too, which is like way cooler. It's like if Nixon ran it. We deflated a football. I don't know how that helps, but we did it. I don't know why we did it, but I know how we did it. We used to do this cool thing in practice where Brady would go back to throw a pass, and then Aaron Hernandez would stab the living shit out of it. Because that was the controversy from this year, was that we deflated a football, but the one from the year before was that our Pro Bowl tight end murdered enough people that you wouldn't have been that surprised if he ate one of them. We got a lot of snow. I'm sure you guys got like a dusting, right? It's melted down. Remember when you were a kid and it would snow and you're like, fucking. And then like even when you were an adult, like the first time it would snow, like it was pretty. Like it wasn't gorgeous, like the way Hawaii's gorgeous, but it was pretty because it was pure white and it was really fluffy, and you don't know why, but for some reason you were very attracted to it. It was like that Progressive insurance lady. But after you get like 8 feet in 3 weeks, like I remember the last time it snowed, like I just looked up at the sky and I was like, you know what? Maybe gay people shouldn't be allowed to get married. We've clearly upset something. This might be a little hipstery to do gay jokes. Gay jokes are like the movie Taken, like they're really hacky, but if it's well executed, you respect it. This room's so weird. I feel like if I don't do well, I'm gonna get like a gang initiating beating on the way out. It's like, well, I had a bad set, but I'm a porcupine now. Homophobia is stupid. That was like my goal for the year, as I'm trying to like stop calling things gay. Like not like people, but like shirts and shit. Because it's stupid. Like I got called on. I was driving a comedian friend of mine to a gig, and I was like, this traffic's fucking gay. And he's like, you shouldn't say that. And I was like, yeah, but I don't mean that it's like a homosexual. And he's like, what do you mean? Oh, I just hate it. Yeah, you're right. I'll stop saying it. It was a pretty good winter, though. I turned 29. I know. The secret is to moisturize. Right? But I wanted to celebrate for my birthday, right? I only get a few more of these things. I wanted to celebrate, but it's hard for me to celebrate because I don't really drink. That's how I drink. But I don't really drink. I just smoke weed. And weed's great, but it's a very shitty celebration drug. It's like, hey, what'd you do for your birthday? Oh, I got hungry and self-conscious. So I wanted to up the ante a little bit. I had a buddy that had some mushrooms. So like, I'll do those fuckers. So I did those. It was the 5th time I'd ever done them. It has gone well 0 times. Because I don't do them right. Like, you gotta do them somewhere scenic, like the desert or the rainforest. I did them in Worcester, Massachusetts. Sounds like some of you travel, but for those of you who don't get out, let me give you an image. Here's Worcester. Imagine Detroit if it was never good. You know what I mean? Like, you go to Detroit, it's like, this burned down building used to be a Ford factory. You go to Worcester, it's like, this pawn shop has always been a pawn shop. So you start tripping, you're like, fuck, are those walls bleeding? And then a sober guy's like, nah, that's just urban decay. It's the best word I know. I'm really dumb. Like, I just found out recently I've been spelling the word definitely wrong my whole life. Like, I wasn't even close. Like, I was far enough up that spell check wasn't giving me the right word to correct it with. So my whole life I've just been sending emails like, I will defiantly be attending your brother's funeral. Try to learn better ones. I'm just trying to get smarter in general. You know what? The best thing I've started doing is I stopped listening to comedy podcasts. Like, I used to just listen to comedy podcasts, and then I realized I know way more about road hacks than I know about Africa. So I'm like, I listen to some smart shit. I listened to a science one. I listened to one about Charles Darwin. He was the evolution guy. I listened to that one because I say I believe in evolution, but I don't really know what the fuck it is. Like, I saw someone on TV, so it was like, she didn't believe in evolution, and she was like, if apes turn into humans one day, then how come there aren't still apes that become humans? I was like, what a fucking idiot, but in my head I was like, yeah, why isn't that happening? So I listened to this one about Darwin, and I learned a little bit about him. You know what I learned is, did you know the church didn't burn him? I always thought they burned him. I think I just assumed they burned him. Because they burned another guy 100 years before because he was like, hey, the earth goes around the sun. And they were like, well, fuck, we can't not burn that guy. That seems dangerous. But then Darwin, like, disappeared for 10 years. He came back with, like, a big mangy beard. And they're like, where have you been? And it's like, I've been on an island watching pigeons fuck for 7 years. And I got bad news. There's no God. And they didn't burn him. Yeah, urban decay. That's a fancy term. It means shithole. I learned it from the DVD commentary to The Wire. For those of you who haven't seen The Wire, you've probably met this guy. What? You haven't seen The Wire? Oh, you gotta see The Wire. I hate those douches. Like, you gotta see The Wire, you gotta see Breaking Bad. Oh, like Mad Men. Here's a valuable lesson I learned late in my 28th year. When somebody goes, you gotta see it, you don't actually have to see it. You can do something else. Those shows are great, but they're an outrageous time commitment. An episode of The Wire is an hour long, times 12 episodes, times 5 seasons. That's like, well, there's no way of actually knowing how much time that is. It was a long time. You could learn something. You can learn how to meditate. That's the thing you can learn. I didn't know that growing up. I'm Irish Catholic. We don't meditate. The closest thing Irish Catholic families have to meditation is just icy silence. So I thought you had to be born with that shit, but it turns out you can just go to the Y and give a pothead $100, and it'll teach you how to meditate. And now you know how to do that. You have this awesome new thing. And the next time some smug asshole's like, you haven't seen Game of Thrones? You're like, no, I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but I recently learned how to meditate, and I feel like I'm one with everything. Do you feel like you're one with everything? And he'll be like, no, and you'll be like, yeah, fucking suck my dick. He'll say. You'll tell him to suck your dick, because you've been meditating, but not long enough that it's had a positive effect on your personality. All right. Don't think I'm gonna get beat up. That's the goal. This is cool. I used to get, Joe at List and I, the guy who was on before, we used to get fucked up. He doesn't drink, we both stopped drinking. He stopped drinking, he went through like programs. I stopped drinking, not by choice, which fucking blows. Like, if you're gonna quit drinking, you have to hit rock bottom. Because otherwise you just remember it fondly. Yeah. Like, drinking for me is like backpacking across Europe. For the pictures alone, totally worth it. Like, I wasn't even a dick. Like, the worst thing I ever did is I went to go see my buddy's band. And apparently I blacked out, during which I whipped out my penis, and I tried to play a xylophone with it. It didn't make any noise, which makes me think I have a small dick, because some people measure by length and some people by width, but I go by pitch. I forgot about that one. reason I stopped drinking is because I went to a doctor because I thought I had heartburn. But he was like, no, you have diabetes. So I was close, you know? Like, you ever go to a mechanic and you're like, hey, I think the brake pads are getting thin. He's like, no, actually, the engine fell out about 10 miles ago. It's like that, but with an organ. So I stayed in the hospital, and that's what he told me. So I said I can't drink booze. Well, he didn't say that. He told me I had diabetes, and I was like, can I still drink? Which probably shouldn't have been the first question I asked. I probably should have been more like, what is diabetes? And so I was like, can I still drink? And he's like, yeah, but you can only have one. And I was like, no deal. So I was like, fuck, I can't drink anymore. I gotta figure out some way to get high. Because I'm not just gonna live, you know? So I was trying to figure out how to get high, and he said you can get high from working out, which I now do every day, and that's not even kind of true. But I do it, so in a couple of years I quit drinking, and now I work out every day, and I have friends that are like, I should get diabetes. And I know this is messing with me, but there's a logic there, you know? Still, there's gonna be a better way to get your shit together. Like, getting diabetes and getting your act together would be like becoming a registered sex offender so that you can meet your neighbors. Thanks. I used to open with that, but I stopped doing it because it's not very pandering. You know? Like, if you're a comedian and nobody knows who you are, you gotta like say shit to get strangers to like you. You gotta be like, the fucking troops. You know? But it's not like there's some diabetic pedophile out there that's like, finally a joke for me. You know? There's not a lot of diabetic pedophiles. Because how are you going to get them in the van if you can't have any candy? All right. Well, I think that's my time. Thanks so much, kids. Have a good night.